Hi, David Sullivan here, and this video is going to be, as I promised, the second part to my Batman v Superman special midnight screening video. I've just come back from seeing the film. I'm keeping quiet because it's very late and people are sleeping. But yeah, I've just seen the film and this will be my first reaction having just seen the film. And overall, I actually really liked the film. Now, was it a perfect film? No, definitely not. It was amazingly epic, in terms of the action, in terms of the visuals, in terms of the music, in terms of seeing these characters in action. It was definitely awesome in that way. But as a film, it did have some issues. It was very choppy in terms of the editing. My biggest complaint would have to be the structuring of the film. There were certain scenes that just felt out of place, and scenes that felt like they didn't need to be there, that could have been cut, scenes that just didn't seem to really make sense and seemed to be like in just a random order. And yeah, and like I said, it was cut together very oddly, like it just could cut from one scene to something completely different, completely unrelated, and it would just be like very kind of jarring, and you'd almost be like, what was, oh, we're in another scene now. And like I said, there were some scenes I didn't feel like needed to be there. And also the pacing, I think, was another big issue. It was a very long build up and a very long way into that eventual Batman v Superman fight. And then it was almost instantly into the final battle then. That was my biggest complaint, I think, because one of my biggest complaints is that it was such a long build up, which I didn't mind. I liked that build up, but it was such a long build up to that Batman versus Superman fight, and then it just went so quickly from that and into the final battle. I think it was just that it went too quickly there. It was just too sudden of a change from them almost a fight to the death to suddenly them becoming friends and joint teaming up. It just seemed too quick. The final battle with Doomsday I actually did really like. In terms of the actual fight with Doomsday itself, I liked. However, it was a bit, it was like a kind of typical Zack Snyder thing that he just went kind of crazy. And Man of Steel, people have argued that it just got a bit crazy in terms of destruction, and I wouldn't disagree with that, but it did still seem like Zack Snyder was restrained a bit and held back, reined in. But with this, he just went absolutely crazy in that final battle. It really went. It was just totally insane, and it was really awesome to watch the action, but at times it was quite hard to follow. It was just going crazy. It was just, yeah, absolutely insane. But yeah, I did like the actual fight itself. I did like Wonder Woman. She didn't get that much to do. Gal Gadot's performance was fine. It was good enough. It wasn't anything amazing. However, she did look the part, and she did sell her scenes of when she was fighting in action really well. You believe it was really convincing, and she did a great job in the action sequences. Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and Batman was probably one of the best things about the film. I wouldn't say whether he was my favourite one, because I just love the Dark Knight trilogy, but it's probably the most relentless, badass Batman we've ever got. He's just so kind of intense and unstoppable and relentless. Especially that scene glimpse in the trailers, that warehouse fight scene, oh my god. And then there's another scene in the Batmobile, and it's just, oh my god, it's absolutely relentless. It just keeps going and going, and just nothing can seem to stop him. It's just great. Also, as I suspected, I really loved Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I just loved this take on the character, how he was quite snarky and often would snap back at Bruce and make certain comments and jabs, and I just loved it. It was just so great. The other supporting characters, Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White, I thought was really good as well. Amy Adams I thought was good. Henry Cavill, of course. I really like Henry Cavill as Superman, and I think he did a great job at, continuing on from where Man of Steel left off. And we could really kind of connect with him and relate to him as a character, like, even though he's this godlike being, how he was going through these very human, emotional struggles and problems similar to Man of Steel. We could really relate to him in that respect. Really feel for him, we can understand what he was going through, and we really felt for him in that way. Also, the opening scene, as I suspected, the opening of the film is just so awesome. Probably one of my favourite parts of the film. The Man of Steel battle from Bruce Wayne's perspective on the ground is just so great. But my biggest issue I have with the film, I would say, are the tie-ins to Justice League. I didn't mention this in my other video, but I was worried about how they would handle those moments, and I think the scenes in which they did set up other kind of characters and the Justice League film, it did feel a little forced, you know, those it did feel like they were just shoehorned in there, and it did feel a bit out of place whenever a scene like that arose in which it was teasing a future character we were going to see, or teasing the Justice League. It just felt like it was just shoehorned in there just for the sake of them having to, you know, introduce people to these characters and set up them. I didn't think they really needed to do it as, like, in the way that they did it. It was a little bit too on the nose and a little bit too, like, in your face, and it just kind of took me out of the film that way. I didn't think they needed to do that. Like, there were so many like kind of vision sequences and dream sequences in the film, and they just seemed a little odd to me and just took me out of the film. So another thing I have to comment on, one last thing, is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. He's been getting a lot of hate from critics. Like, pretty much most people seem to not like his take on the character and are really kind of criticising him and his performance. But I actually kind of liked him as Lex Luthor. I like this new different take on the character. How they made him more like a sick, twisted psychopath, because he's like really evil and he's really intelligent. He's like a genius. So if you think about it, if someone was that clever and was that evil, they would be kind of crazy, wouldn't they? Kind of unhinged. And I kind of like I said, I like this new different take on the character, and I think Jesse Eisenberg did a really good job. I think they got some good dialogue. His interactions with Holly Hunter and with Superman I thought were really good. And yeah, I don't really have any problems there. I don't think it was as laughable and as stupid as a lot of people are making it out. I think I did actually kind of like his performance. So there we go, that wraps up my first reaction, having just seen Batman v Superman for the first time. I will do a full-length, in-depth review of the film. Should be up by this weekend, and a spoilers review as well, so look out for that. But for now, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.